On the night Briarwood Station lost a letter, 3 ordinary people stood near one open office. Before the night was over, 2 of them would lie. One of them would need the letter to disappear. By day, Briarwood Station ran on timetables and habit. After dark, it ran on rain, lamplight, and the things people preferred not to say. At 8:45, stormwater flooded the North Rail. The final northbound train was moved from Platform 3 to Platform 1, and the announcement crossed the whole station. Station Master Alder had spent the afternoon comparing freight records, line by patient line. Several parcel weights had changed before dispatch. Small changes, but together they meant someone had been quietly helping cargo become lighter on paper. She copied the figures into one letter and sealed it with cobalt blue wax. At 8:52, a telegraph bell called her to the next room. She was gone less than 5 minutes. When she returned, the folder was exactly where she'd left it. The letter was not. No broken lock, no open window, no dramatic escape. Alder named the only 3 people who had been near her office that evening. Lena Wren at the ticket window, Otis Mole at the newsstand, and Bram Badger with the luggage carts. By 9 o'clock, Detective Marlow and Pip were already beneath the canopy. Lena Wren said she'd stayed at her ticket window all evening, but Marlow found a yellow transfer form under Alder's blotter, Lena's. She'd slipped in earlier to withdraw her sister's transfer request and lied because she feared losing her post. A lie, but it belonged to a smaller trouble, and smaller troubles often leave larger ones easier to see. Otis Mole had spent the evening tying newspaper bundles at his stand. He'd heard luggage cart wheels pass near the office. Through the rain-wet corridor window, he'd seen only a moving reflection, but he did remember one thing clearly. Everyone had heard the platform change. Bram Badger moved luggage, freight, trunks, anything too heavy for someone else to carry. Between trains, he'd been sealing a small envelope of his own, wages sent home to family 2 towns north. His cart that night carried more than luggage, dark trunks, a folded rain cover, and something else besides. Strapped beneath the lower shelf sat a stack of dispatch parcels, bound for the very shipments Alder's ledgers had flagged. At 8:55, Bram said he'd been loading baggage beside the final train at Platform 3. Marlow didn't correct him. Beyond the glass, the final train waited at Platform 1, steaming gently beneath the lamps. Then Bram mentioned the blue sealed letter. No one had told him the seal was blue. From the corridor, the folder had looked ordinary. Brown card, closed edges, nothing worth remembering. The blue wax lay hidden deep inside. Marlow looked down at the brass clasp of Bram's cart. Caught where leather met metal was a thin crescent of the same cobalt blue wax. The freight figures explained why the letter mattered. They could trace every altered shipment and every hand that had touched it, including the hands that carried it. Someone hadn't stolen paper. He'd stolen the time it would take anyone to notice him. The wrong platform, the hidden color, the wax on the car. And beneath the cart, the dispatch parcels tied Bram to the very freight records Alder had uncovered. Marlow did not stop the train. There was no reason to. The letter had never boarded it. Rain softened over Briarwood. The lamps burned on. The station returned to waiting. But one cart remained where it had been.